Hello class 7th. Let's continue the chapter Making of Composite Culture. Saint Dhaneshwar. He was also a great saint of Maharashtra, one of the greatest saints of Maharashtra. Saint Dhaneshwar was one of the greatest saints of Maharashtra. He was a Sanskrit scholar. He preached and sang in Marathi. He wrote Amritnubhava and Bhavat Deepika in Marathi. His followers belonged to all castes. His followers were from different castes because he did not believe in the caste system. He did not believe in the caste system and condemned rituals, ceremonies, and sacrifices in religious worship. His followers known as Varkaris. Whose followers were known as Varkaris? Dhaneshwar. Saint Dhaneshwar's followers were known as Varkaris. At the tender age of 15, when he was 15 years of old, he wrote a beautiful commentary in Marathi on the Bhagavad Gita called the Dhaneshwari, which occupies a high place in the origin and early development of Marathi literature. His followers believed in attaining the presence of God through religious songs or bhajans and prayers. They are the Vaishnavas of Maharashtra. Vaishnavas, a community of Maharashtra worshipping Lord Vithoba, whom they believe to be the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Saint Dhaneshwar passed away in 1296 at Alandi near Pune at the young age of 21. He was very young when he died. No other Indian saint won such great renown and fame in such a short period of time as did this great Maratha saint. E and CE. The full form of CE is Common Era. Okay. Common Era and AD. Anno Domini, they both are same. Okay. Don't be confused. CE and AD, they both are same. But we write CE also in place of AD. But BC, that is different from these two. Guru Nanak Dev was born in a Khatri family. He was born in a Khatri family of Talwandi, modern Nankana Sahib, Lahore, which is in Lahore, in the year 1469 AD. Lahore is in Pakistan and he was born there. He spent his whole life in preaching his gospel of universal tolerance. Gospel, a good thing of universal tolerance, based upon all that was good in Hinduism and Islam, which is given in Hinduism and also in Islam. As a matter of fact, his mission was to put an end to the conflict of religions. It means that time people, they used to fight with each other in the name of religion. So, like Kabir, he preached the unity of Godhead. He also condemned and discarded the formalism of Hinduism and Islam. Teachings of Guru Nanak Dev. He believed in the oneness of God and the significance of living a pure life. We should live a pure life. God is truth. God is truth. He laid stress on the equality of all men, discarding the class distinction. Distinction means Brahmins, then uh, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, Shudra. Class distinctions. Rich, poor. He was anxious to bring different castes together. He was anxious to bring all the castes together, so he insisted to eating together. So he insisted to eating together in a common kitchen. In a common kitchen called langar. See, this is a scene of langar. Whenever you go in a Gurudwara, there you can see langar over there. It was started by Guru Nanak Dev Ji only, you can say, because he was anxious to bring all castes together. So he insisted on eating together in a common kitchen called langar. He also denounced the useless rituals and supremacy of priestly class. Priestly, Brahmins, ulemas, priestly class, they are called priestly class. He denounced, he was against of it. He did not believe in renouncing the world for achieving salvation. Salvation, moksha, cycle of life and death. Free from the cycle of death and birth. His followers are known as Sikhs. Sikh. They are the followers of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Sikhs. Okay. Now 3 things you have to learn. You have to memorize. First, followers of Kabir Panthis, followers Sant Dyaneshwar, Varkaris, and followers of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Sikhs. Okay, Sikh. These 3 things you have to learn. He collected his teachings in the form of hymns in a book named Adi Granth, Teachings of Guru Nanak Dev, which was later written in Gurumukhi. The holy book of Sikh is known as the Guru Granth Sahib. In Adi Granth, Teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Now, who was Adi Shankaracharya? Adi Shankaracharya, he was also a bhakti saint. Adi Shankaracharya was one of the greatest philosophers. He was one of the greatest philosophers, thinker of India. He founded the Advaita Vedanta. He founded the Advaita Vedanta, which is one of the sub-schools of Vedanta. Sub-schools are a school making up part of a larger school. A school making up part of a larger school of Vedanta. Vedanta, a Hindu philosophy based on the doctrine of Purans, Upanishads. Okay, doctrines means teachings. Adi Shankaracharya wholeheartedly believed in the concept of the Veds, but at the same time advocated against the rituals and religious practices that were exaggerated. Exaggerated means to overstate. He was born in a simple Brahmin family approximately in the 8th century AD in Kaladi, Kerala. He was named as Shankara and is considered to be the incarnation of Lord Shiva. It is said that Shankaracharya's mother Aramba had a vision that Lord himself told her that he would incarnate in the form of her firstborn child. Right from childhood, he showed a penchant towards spiritual knowledge. He could easily recite the Purans and the epics and mastered the Veds during his early years in Gurukul. Adi Shankaracharya's teachings were thoroughly adopted by his disciples later on. Disciples means followers. Now, impact of Bhakti and Sufi cult where on our society or in India. First one, equality amongst all. By emphasizing equality of men and by discarding caste distinctions, the Bhakti movement brought about a great social change. It instilled a sense of human dignity in the lower caste of people. It also reduced the influence of the Brahmin priests by condemning rituals and sacrifices. Guru Nanak's concept of langar is a wonderful step towards equality of all. Second, harmony between the Hindus and Muslims. The teachings of Bhakti and Sufi saints, especially Kabir and Guru Nanak Dev Ji brought the Hindus and the Muslims closer to each other. Several Muslims became their followers. Their message of religious tolerance and respect for all religions paved the way to bring about a remarkable improvement in the Hindu-Muslim relations. Many Muslim rulers allowed religious freedom to their subject. Alauddin Khilji and Firoz Shah Tughlaq honored Hindu saints. Ghiyazuddin Tughlaq even appointed Jain officers in his court. In this way, the Bhakti saints laid the foundation of the composite Indian culture that has derived the best from the Hindu and the Muslim religions and cultures. Development of languages and literature. The sense of Bhakti and the Sufi movements taught in the language of the common man. As a result, many regional languages such as Hindi, Bengali, Marathi, Gujarati, etc. developed. Rich literature of very high merit was produced by Kabir, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Chaitanya, Mirabai, Surdas and others in the form of their dohas, couplets. They also promoted the growth of devotional singing, that is kirtan, and musical instruments like rubab, sitar and tambura. See, rubab and sitar. Here your chapter finishes. Lesson number 8, chapter number 8 finishes. You have to do these exercises, C, D, in your book and send it also. Okay. Now let's compare the answers of lesson number 2 in civics, which we could not do. Okay. Let's compare the answers which you have done in your book but not cross-checked. Okay. Let's cross-check. Just take out page number 114. Yes, class. Take out page number 114. In match the columns, your sequence will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Okay. And now fill in the blanks. India is the first one. India is a welfare state. Article 36 to 51 in part 4th deal with directive principles of state policy. Okay. State policy. I have written here state policy. Equal pay for equal work is economic principle. It is also included in directive principles of state policy and the column is economic. Here you can see here equal pay for equal work for both men and women. Economic principle or socialist principle. Okay, it is given classification of directive principles. It means here I have written economic principle. Protection of environment is a directive principle. Now here, first one, directive principles are enforceable in the code. False. You will write not. You will are directive principles are not enforceable in the code. Number 2, while we have established political democracy, it is also the desire that we should lay down as our ideal economic democracy. These were the words of Mahatma Gandhi. No, it is incorrect. False. These were the words of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay. Third one, right to work is a directive principles of state policy. Yes, it is true. Right to work, it is not fundamental right. Right to work. C. Right to work. It is given in directive principles of state policy. Now, right to work is a directive principle of state policy. True. Chief aim of directive principle of state policy is political equality. It is given. No, it is incorrect. You will correct it. To establish social and economic equality. State shall organize the village panchayats. It is fundamental right. Cut fundamental right and right over there directive principle. Okay. That's all for the day. Thank you.